What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. And I've just bit my tongue as I'm doing the intro. That really fucking hurt. Really hurt. Not the smooth intro that we wanted, but we moved. Now, the topics on your screen today. We are going to talk about Benjamin Sesko, Manchester United versus Newcastle in a race for his signature. How much is that deal gonna cost? Borussia Dortmund have reignited their interest in Jadon Sancho. How much are we going to end up selling him for, and how much of an embarrassment would it be on our part to let him go for cheap? Chelsea still want Garnacho, according to Matt Law, who's a very good journalist. I'm interested to see how they've got the finances to sort that deal out. And also, we just had news coming in that Toby Collier is set to go out on loan. Where to? I don't know. Where would be a good loan move for him? Should we do like what we done with Jimmy Garner when we sent him to the Championship, and like Amad Diallo as well? I'd imagine it'd probably be something like that to try and replicate what you get from a physical league. But we'll be discussing that more towards the end. I really want to discuss the situation with Benjamin Sesko, because I know a lot of people are split on this striker situation. I know some people want Watkins, they want Prem Proven. I know some people are saying, oh, it'll just be another kind of Rasmus Højlund situation with Benjamin Sesko. There are a variety of opinions, right? And that's what football's about. If everyone had the same opinion, life would be fucking boring. But just to say, very happy to be back on the channel. This weekend has been absolutely nuts. It's just been jam-packed. Friday night had a surprise 30th, which I knew absolutely nothing about. I had Sam was there, Chivy from the channel was there as well, loads of friends, families and stuff. Really good. Really enjoyed it. Drank a lot. And I'm talking, I was getting bought fireballs, tequila rolls, vodka shots, like everything. And for someone who doesn't drink, although behind me, you can't see it on TikTok at the moment, but behind me, there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bottles of whiskey behind me on that cabinet there. And the reason why there's 7 bottles that the majority are full is because I don't drink that often. It's like every 6 months. But people keep buying me whiskey, which I'm very grateful for. I do like bourbon. I do like whiskey. I do drink it. But yeah, just not as much as what appears to be behind me. So yeah, I still feel rough. I'm not even going to lie. Was drinking on Friday. It's Monday today, and it's still very heavy. But the reason why I'm mentioning this is not just talk about myself, it's talk about that the weekend was a bit of a blur. So spent Friday night at put my own surprise 30th, which I just thought I was going out for a meal for. Saturday, spent all day just dying, literally dying in bed. And then obviously United was on Saturday night. So this is what I mean. I'm trying to like recollect time and shit. Was on Saturday night. Watched that. Obviously had a lot of thoughts on the game. Didn't come in on Sunday because I was working all day. So from like literally from the first thing in the morning, from when I got up until 10 o'clock at night, I was at Fives doing Next Gen and then doing Root Super League and hosting all that kind of stuff. So yeah, now was the actual time where I managed to get back on. And I've not even spoken about the game yet. I listened to the lads yesterday. We had Shreyas, Chivy, and Sam on. Make sure you go check that out if you did miss that show. And they were speaking about the midfield, which I know people in the chat are going to absolutely grill me about, because when we was doing the pre-match build-up for the game, I was talking about how I don't think Ugarte and Kobe are good enough for the midfield role. Now, that was based on the fact that what I had seen from last season. I don't think anyone can really blame me for that. Whenever they had played together, it was some sort of balance or chemistry or just kind of something just wasn't right. Something wasn't there. So I had no evidence to go off to believe that they would be a success. Now, and on the same kind of scale, one game against West Ham in pre-season doesn't go on to suggest that they're going to be an incredible partnership and this is what we should run with. However, what I will say and what I will concede to is they looked a lot better. And there was many reasons for that. I thought they dovetailed off each other really well. Ugarte being more of a protector, but was getting forward as well, which is what you saw with Ahmad's goal when he kind of slid him in behind. Kobe Mainoo taking the ball under pressure, press resistance, dribbling with the ball, a lot more aggressive out of possession. Like there's a million things I could go into in regards to the midfield. It was better. But let's see him doing a consistent basis, and then I'll if people want an apology, then they'll get an apology. You know what I'm saying? But big up everyone in the TikTok as well. I am live on simultaneously at the moment on both platforms, so I will get into comments or anything like that. I'm going to talk about this Benjamin Sesko situation, and if people want to stick around towards the end, then we'll speak about the game as well, because I haven't really had a conversation with anyone about that properly. We can happily do that. But let me just read you the most recent updates as of now on Benjamin Sesko. Let me get a quick drink. It's going to dry us forever. So, Manchester United and Newcastle are currently in talks with Benjamin Sesko's camp. Both teams have presented their projects and financial offers. The decision now lies mainly with the player and his representatives. That was from Florian Plettenberg, who's good with stuff when it comes out of Germany. Fabrizio Romano reported that United have held new contacts in the last few hours with Benjamin Sesko's camp. Discussions were regarding the contract, project and vision. Manchester United have started to move for Sesko, and then Ben Jacobs just as well saying United shouldn't be discounted in the race for Sesko, even though Newcastle are pushing a lot of internal support to formalise a move, but outgoings needed. United pitched to Sesko a year ago, and they are prepared to meet his terms as well. So it seems the situation where we're at is we'll probably pay the wage that we want. We would probably pay the fee that you want, because this one thing that keeps getting mentioned by Fabrizio Romano is the fact that, he's got a gentleman's agreement if a certain special club comes in, right? So what I take from that is he was in talks with Arsenal, so they would have been one of the special clubs. Liverpool was openly looking about for a striker. They brought in Ekitike. Obviously, it looks like they're going for Isaac as well. United are one of those clubs as well, I would probably imagine. And I know Newcastle fans are going to be in the chat and they'll be like, well, how do you know we're not one of the special clubs? If you want me to tell you why you're not one of the special clubs, you just have to look at the transfer market, mate. Because players have been dodging you like a bullet. And you can go through loads of them. James Trafford, linked with him for ages. Absolutely ages. Thought it was nailed on, going to get done. Man City, activate whatever clause he had in his contract. Bye-bye to James Trafford in goal. Hugo Ekitike, massive interest, willing to pay 70 million, whatever it was. Liverpool swoop in, go and get him. Who else was there who he was linked with? João Pedro, I think they wanted. Nope, not going to do that. I'm pretty sure he was a centre-back as well. Like, there's a list of players where they've just gone, yeah, no, I'm not going to Newcastle, mate. So, just my opinion, I have no concrete, and I haven't spoke to any journalist or anything like this about the situation. I don't think Newcastle are in that bracket of, they're a special club, so they get a special price or gentleman's agreement or whatever. So I think he would prefer United. There's reports coming out again before, literally a couple of hours ago, that Sesko was impressed with United's offer and blah, blah, blah. But there is a caveat with it, and there is one sticking point, and you all know what I'm going to say. It is, we need to sell before we can go and fork out 60, 70, if we can even fork out 60, 70 million on Sesko, because we've just spent 120 million on Mbeumo and Cunha. I don't think they're going to just go, yep, there's 70 million, done and dusted, sign a contract and it's done. No, they'll probably think, right, well, now we've got links with Anthony to Saudi, which, by the way, I am praying is true. I don't know how credible it is, because the journalist that reported it is kind of like... So there's a Newcastle fan in the chat saying, I support Newcastle and we've lost almost every transfer target this summer. Thank you. It wasn't me shaming Newcastle or anything. I'm just saying, just the reality of the situation, isn't it? But yeah, I can't remember where I was at now, what I was talking about. But yeah, look, I know people are divisive. Is that a word? Divisive? Split? I'll say split because it sounds better. I know people are split on the striker situation. But listen, I will be on this boat. I will drive this bus on my own. I will die on that hill that I believe Benjamin Sesko is the next biggest talent. Let me say that again, because I don't want to stumble across my words. I will die on this hill. I will drive that bus. I will drive that boat. Benjamin Sesko is going to be one of the biggest talents in Europe as a striker. I would have said the same thing if he would have gone to Arsenal, because I was worried about Arsenal signing him. Anyone else in the Premier League would have signed him. I'm telling you now, he is going to be an elite talent. His ceiling is massive. Could it flop and go absolutely categorically wrong? Catastrophically wrong? Of course it can. Any signing can. But you have to take that jump. Loads of people were saying about Isaac when he was at Real Sociedad, when Newcastle signed him. They was like, oh, why are they spending £60 million on a striker from La Liga, blah, blah, blah. Comes to the Premier League. looks like, well, is probably the best striker in the league. Right up there. Is anyone complaining about that now? No, they're not. So everyone has their opinion on him. People say, oh, he's not good at this, or he's in and out of games, he's not a poacher, whatever you kind of criticism of him is. I watch him. I think the guy's 6'5". He's great in the air. He's got a rocket of a shot. He's rapid. He can play it into his feet. He can run in behind, a bit more of a hybrid striker. Like, mate, put him in the middle of Mbeumo and Cunha and watch him cook. I'm telling you right now. But it's getting that deal done. It's getting the outgoings done first. Anthony Tesaude needs to be done. I'm going to speak about Jadon Sancho potentially going back to Dortmund in a moment for around 18 million euros. I think the price is being mentioned. Chelsea's still interested in Garnacho. Rashford has obviously already gone out on loan. And then you've got a couple of others like, Tyrell Malacia, who won't make much of a dent. To be honest with you. But anyway, I've been talking too long, 10 minutes straight now. Let's get into the comment section and see what you guys are saying. Please do leave a like on the video for us and subscribe to the channel if you're watching on TikTok as well. Check us out on YouTube Live. Got a massive community. Appreciate you all. Robert saying Manchester United takes 7 weeks to complete Mbeumo, which means the Sesko deal will take around 3 months to complete it. I will agree with you to an extent. I don't think this is going to be imminent. I don't think... to be honest, I don't even think we start the season with a new striker. I think it'll probably be Xerxes or Cunha or Mbeumo or someone playing there instead. Or maybe even Rasmus, fuck knows. But I think it probably late August, striker deal, depending on how quick we can get outgoings moving. UTFR saying, loving the new format on Instagram. I don't know. You have to make a bit of broad statement in that. Do you mean the new graphics for the quotes, the news articles? Or are you on about just the general Instagram, social media? I'm not sure. RGTV saying Sesko's foot is a rocket. Yeah, go back and watch some of the highlights that he scored. Honestly. Won't get him, bro. Said himself he's impressed over Man United. Oh, you say Newcastle won't get him. I agree. I just commented on your Insta post. Let Newcastle do the groundwork and the special club will move in. Buffalo Trace. Nice. Yeah, this is... Do you know what? I think probably... That has got to be, and Buffalo Trace, if you ever want to sponsor me, please do feel free. That's got to be one of the nicest drinks on ice ever, in my opinion. It's absolutely banging. And we go again on Saturday, by the way. But, put that back there. Still want to try that as well. Jay in the chat saying it was wild. It definitely was. He was a big part of that. Happy birthday, bud. I suspect the whole Sesko thing is agent talk of not Ineos U-turning against their own principles. Well, what's their own principles? Because to me, he's under 25. He's an exciting talent. He's got a consistent record in the German league. He's done well for international teams. Got 47 caps, I think, for Slovenia. Or Slovakia. I always get confused between the two. So I don't know what would go against Ineos' ethos in that regard. I appreciate all the happy birthdays as well. My birthday was on the 2nd of July, by the way, but the surprise birthday was on Friday, so that's why it even threw me off even more. Adi Amy says, I pray we get Sesko. I'm praying with you, brother. Newcastle are special in the way Forrest Gump was. I had some Geordie clown in my ear after Oasis telling me how shit we are and that Newcastle weren't in for Mbeumo and Cunha. Can I just say, I don't know where this comes from, right? And again, we've spoken about this multiple times on this channel. Newcastle's beef with United and the general hatred, I really don't get it. I don't get where it comes from. Liverpool, I get. Man City, I get. Arsenal, I get, of course. Huge rivalry, early 2000s. Newcastle, late 90s or whatever. Like, yeah, there was a bit of a rivalry there, but like, what's the beef? Why is, like, whenever you listen to True Geordie speak, there's always a bit of saltiness and a bitterness about United. I don't get it. Any other Newcastle fan, they talk about Man United, they hate us. Is it the Carabao Cup? Because we beat them in the final and they had to wait another year to win it for the first time. Someone tell me, please, if there is a Newcastle fan in the chat, tell me why there is so much hatred towards us as a club. Because even if you look in the league, and I'm a United fan, I'll say it, like, you guys are in the Champions League. We finished 15th last season, so even in the league, we're not really close. So just make it make sense. Don't get it at all. Remember, Nick, the transfers are over certain durations, so we've not blown our budget. Yeah. So Mbeumo is over 4 years, correct? I think 16 million a year, Klarna payments, basically. I actually got an order from Abercrombie and Fitch for £16 a month, which is 4 months, which is really weird. I mean, I could have just bought it outright, but why not? You know what I mean? Why not pay fucking Klarna? Let's not pretend that we don't all do that. And then you've got Cunha, I think, which is in 3 installments over a few years. So it's there. We don't know the finances, do we? So you can only really speculate about actually how much is in the bank there, if there's any kind of posturing ongoing, what the wage situation is as well. If they need to, obviously, if they move someone like Sancho, for example, that's like a massive space that's given on the wage, but you're talking like, I think 250,000 without European football included. Jonathan saying, I wake up different days, flip-flopping between wanting a striker more and a midfielder. Honestly, different day, different choice. That's what football does to you, though. That's why, you know, when someone brings something up from like 6 months ago in regards to football, and they're like, oh, well, you said this. I'm like, yeah, mate, do you know how much shit's happened in the last... Think how much stuff's happened in the last year with United. Like, Ten Hag was still a manager a year ago. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, think football changes very, very quickly. An opinion can change. No one thought Manu and Nagati at the start of the season would be an incredible partnership. You watch the game against West Ham, you think, potentially something there. You know what I mean? So things can change. By the way, loving the new short style. Oh, I'm with you. Yeah, the one we just put up, do you mean? Wait, are you on about shorts that we wear? Or are you on about shorts on the actual... Sorry, my brain's not still with it at the minute. Shorts, like the clips that we just put up, basically. Like, I've put Sam and Chivy above it, and then midfield situation. Please do elaborate, because my brain's scrambled. I don't think we're going for a midfielder. 1 game a week out of midfield should be able to cope. Striker and keeper are a must. Yes, Toby has to go on loan, same as Heaven. No, I disagree with Heaven. I think I would rather keep him, personally. One thing I'll say about Heaven, I've really rated him up until the game against West Ham on Saturday night. I thought he was very rough and raw. I thought his first touch looked a little bit stodgy. I thought he passed it out of play a couple of times. But, I mean, the kid's 18. You know, he's probably had about 10 games for us in total. So, but in terms of ability, I think Heaven's right up there. Having Heaven on that left-hand side and your role to grow into that role, special. And to get for £1 million as well, like, mate, absolute bargain. T2 saying Barcodes are a one-club town. They don't have a Prem rival. They're desperate for a Prem rivalry, but are aiming way too high. It's like that Mad Men meme. I don't even know who you are. Spot on. Could have said it better himself. Alan, no one will sign Sancho. He's seen out his contract. Wouldn't surprise me. You might be right. It's not like he even cares if he doesn't play. Yeah, he's happy. He seems like, at least with Rashford, I know there's a lot of criticism there. At least with Rashford, he was willing to take a bit of a pay cut. Anthony said the same thing with Real Betis as well. I'll take a bit of a pay cut. We're not hearing any kind of noise around Sancho saying, do you know what, I just want to play football. Like, I'm okay to move. I'll take 180 grand a week, God forbid. And I'll go to Chelsea or I'll do whatever. Because Chelsea still offered him a decent wage, like higher than the majority of their players. And he was still like, meh, I'm not sure. So I think that gives us the perfect time to segue into this Jadon Sancho story. So coming out of Sky Sports Germany, Jadon Sancho, so there's been contact between Dortmund and Jadon Sancho. He is open to a return. Manchester United want around 18 to 20 million euros. Dortmund are thinking about the deal and are discussing it internally. They are still undecided. So no concrete interest around it from the German team, but still kind of conversations ongoing about the player, if it's worth it or not. And I think on our part, that kind of symbolises what we are as a club, in it, like, or what we was, should I say, more to the point. That deal that we did for Sancho, the fact that we chased him for nearly 2 years, the fact that they was quoting, I think it was like 110 million that they wanted in the first place, which, to be honest, I bet they wasn't far from paying. Like, they wouldn't have been far from paying that. They got it down to 70-odd million quid. And, yeah, you just look at the deal. I mean, what was that, 2022? When we signed Sancho, maybe a year earlier, potentially. Because I remember he signed the same season as Ronaldo and Varane, didn't he? After all, he just finished third or second, was it? So I think it was like 21, 22. For 70-odd million quid, £350,000 a week. And it's going to go down as one of the worst transfers again. It'll go down the same bracket as Alexis Sanchez. Up there with them. Antony, another one as well. Funnily enough, wingers. we spend a lot on wingers and then they never work out. Just seems to be a thing that we do at this club. So to then sell him back 3 years later to a club where he's a worse player, you're getting at 1/5 of what you paid for him, and you're struggling to shove him out the door. That categorises everything that's gone wrong at United, doesn't it? Really, really does. Dorgu looked solid on Saturday night. Completely agree. And I think the reason why Dorgu looked really good is because he had Cunha ahead of him. And what you get with Matheus Cunha is, one, he shifts it really quickly. He can play with his back to goal, so he can receive it under pressure, and he can get out those little tight pockets. And he actually actively looks for those passes, whether it's kind of in behind the defender, where it catches him just over the shoulder, or just fizzes it down the line, and he drops almost into midfield at times, Cunha, which helps there as well positionally. So yeah, Dorgu's just got that confidence to kind of advance and bomb on. I thought he looked a lot better. Him and Yoro, I've been really impressed with over the past couple of months. So spot on in that kind of assessment. But would you take £18 million right now for Jadon Sancho? Yes or no? Talk to me. It's kind of like, if we don't, is anyone else going to come in and take that? Do you know what I mean? I don't see him going otherwise if we don't let him go. I really, really don't. And Chelsea was the safe bet. That was like, that's definitely going to happen, so no one needs to worry about that. Then when they turn around and go, right, we're going to pay €5 million to send him back, maybe you can take 18 million euros, or 18 million quid for him. If you've already received 5 million from Chelsea, you've pretty much got close to the 25 you wanted for him anyway, and his wages are off the bill. So with me, I can't do it right now because I've got to keep hold of the microphone, but I'd wash my hands with it. Simple as that. Unfortunately, like some weird thing, a lot of footballers fail upwards, so somebody somewhere will give him a big chunk of money at the end of this contract. Look at Juve. Lindelof, the GOAT, says I'd get Sesko for 60 plus add-ons, although slightly expensive for no Prem experience. Well, Liverpool just bought Ekitike for 79 million. And he's got better stats than Ekitike, if you want to look at it like that. I was speaking to a Liverpool fan the other day, actually my cousin's fiance, I think it is, and he was saying, oh, it's not expensive, it's a bargain that for Ekitike. I keep seeing loads of people saying it. I was like, okay, let's see if they've got the same attitude and narrative if we sign Sesko, or will they then say, oh, that's too expensive and blah blah blah. Sign Adam Wharton to play alongside Kobe Mate. I wish it was that easy. I really do wish it was that easy, but Adam Wharton is going to cost about £80 million, and we definitely haven't got £80 million to spend on a midfielder. So yeah, Toby should go to Ipswich. McKenna would take him. Class. I'll speak about Toby in a minute. Take it and run. Nath saying 18 million handshake. Be interesting to see what the loans are like with Johnny Evans now. Strategically plan them. Yeah, great point, Jonathan. I forgot Johnny Evans is in charge of that. And obviously with the experiences he's had, at kind of West Brom and Leicester, he knows clubs near the bottom or in the Championship really, really well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see where he goes on. Before we get into the Toby Collier story, just a thing coming out from Matt Law, who's a really good journalist when it comes to kind of London clubs, saying that Chelsea are still interested in Alejandro Garnacho, even if they sign Xavi Simons from Leipzig, which is, I know this seems like a weekly thing, right? But can we just go through Chelsea's signings so far and just figure out how the fuck they are doing this at the minute? Because I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. So far this summer, right, get on this, Chelsea have signed Jamie Gittins for around £50-odd million, João Pedro for £50-odd million, Liam Delap for £30 million, Estavio for £30 million, Dario Esugo for £20 million, Mamadou Sarr for £14 million, Kendry Payaz for £10 million as well. They're about to sign Xavi Simons, which is probably going to cost them about 70-80 million quid. And they want Alejandro Garnacho. So that is what? 6, 12, 100, 130, 150. Call it 150s, 230s. Probably about 280 million quid just casually being spent by Chelsea. Is there not going to be a point with what's happening with City where we have a conversation about Chelsea and going, how the fuck are they doing this? I know Chelsea sell really well and they're one of the best clubs in the Premier League at doing it, and maybe that's why they can do it. I'm not sure. Maybe the big contract is something, and maybe the fact that them buying the women's team and they're finding loopholes left, right, and centre. Maybe that just is the answer to why they can do all this business, basically, in the summer. I just find it crazy how they're spending so much money. Like, it is mental. I don't think we'll get Garnacho. Doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, also from a player perspective, you're looking at, like, I've just mentioned, so Chelsea in the wide areas, they have Jamie Gittins. João Pedro is in more of a kind of a, I don't know if you call him like a 9.5. I know João Pedro could play quite a lot of different positions. And I think the reason why they bought João Pedro in and they're looking at selling Nicholas Jackson is because João Pedro is better between the lines and can receive it better and can play off Palmer or whoever it is. I know Palmer himself benefited quite a lot from Jackson's runs in behind and him dropping in, but I don't know. It seems like Chelsea or Maresca just prefers a player like a João Pedro for whatever reason that may be. Maybe Chelsea fans can explain it a little bit more. But they've brought in that Estavio, that young winger who looks really, really good. They've got Pedro Neto who could play there. They've still not managed to get rid of Christopher Nkunku. Obviously, they've sold Madueke now. They've sold João Felix. So there's space kind of opening up there. But I don't know. I feel like Chelsea in the transfer market are just like an anomaly. Just crazy. Who do you reckon United will sign next? It's a striker. I can't sit here and say categorically that it's going to be Sesko, but they're going to sign a striker next. And then they will look to see if they can bring in a cheap option in midfield and a cheap option potentially as a goalkeeper, whether it's Le Mans or Martinez towards the end of the window. I'm not sure. What are we saying? Hey, Nick, apology on Ugarte, please. Z, if you are open to scrolling to the back of the start of the video, you will find your apology there, sir. Said it at the start. I'm not going to repeat myself. Thing is about Ekitike, he's got many Premier League winners and a few 2 times Premier League winners with a good coach. He could develop easier than Sesko would with us. 95 isn't a bargain, but Scousers are mad. Yeah, and to be honest, there won't be as much pressure on Ekitike, because it looks like Liverpool are going to have a forward line of Florian Wirtz, Isaac, and Salah. So if Ekitike doesn't really do well, there's not going to be that much of a thing here, because Isaac will just be fucking bagging goals. And Wirtz will be setting up players, and Salah will be doing what Salah does every single season, year in, year out. Whereas if Sesko comes to United, and he's now the number 9, the main man, people are going to go, oh, well, we spent 70 million on Rasmus. What's going to be the difference? You know what I mean? Like, you can see the narratives being painted already. And I'm telling you, I'm going to call it early right now. If we buy Benjamin Sesko, you are going to see on media outlets, like whether it's fucking TalkSport or Sky Sports or certain fan channels, speaking about Sesko as way too pricey. Can't believe they spent another 70 million quid on a striker, blah, blah, blah. Whereas, like, the energy with Hugo Ekitike is a lot different. A lot different. I'm telling you. They're going to get fined in 4 years. Don't worry about it. Probably. Yeah. Chelsea Goughton FC. I wish there was some Chelsea fans in the chat who could actually speak to us so I know like what the crack is going on there. Gyökeres or Sesko? Gyökeres. 100%. Gyökeres. More proven in Europe. His numbers do not lie. Like, he was right up there with the best in what he did. The only reason why I want to take Gyökeres at United is because what he said about Arsenal. You're my priority. It's like, all right, well, are you going to go ask a bird out if she just said, no, I prefer Michael? We'll wait and see the end of the night. If Michael's still with me, I'm going to go with him. But if you're still about, I might come with you. Are you going to be like, wait about for that bird? Absolutely not. You're a mug if you do. So, yeah, Gyökeres. But one thing I will say about Gyökeres, when you watch him, most of Gyökeres' goals come from on the transition, where he's peeling off. What do Arsenal do against the majority of teams? Keep possession, pin them back, look to create opportunities. I think he will score a decent amount of goals, but I don't think he'll score as many as he did in Portugal. Not even close. Besides, as well, they've got other players around who get decent figures, whether it's Ødegaard or Saka or whoever it is. Havertz as well. Like, Havertz is quite important for them, how Arsenal play. Yeah. Hey, Newcastle, I know an Argentine international and Danish wonder good you can get. Liam saying, why does anyone need to apologise to Ugarte? He had a good pre-season game. I don't dislike him, but let's rein it in. Thank you, Liam. Liam, if I could buy you a drink right now, take your pick, mate. Whatever you want. I don't know if you're drinking, man. I don't know if you drink bourbon or whiskey. I'm sure I could find some lager or cider or vodka or whatever. And I'll buy you a drink, sir. Right, anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'll come back to the comments in a minute. There's loads of them on TikTok and YouTube. I want to get into this last story and get people's thoughts on this. So, this is coming from Samuel Luckhurst. Toby Collier is set to leave Manchester United on loan this summer. Where do we think Toby Collier should go? Where do we want him to develop? Should we move with a similar kind of way that like we did with Amad Diallo? Obviously didn't quite work out at Rangers, but then he went over to Sunderland, worked out really, really well. James Garner went to Nottingham Forest, had a worldie of a season with him. We ended up selling him for, was it 15 million to Everton, I think. I still think we could have got more for that. And Chivy will tell you this as well next time Chivy's on. Mention Jimmy Garner to him, and he'll just be like, oh, fuck's sake. We could have got more for him. So, I don't know. Me right now, in terms of rating Toby Collier, I think people seem to think Collier's a lot younger than what he is. Like, Collier, I think he's 20 years old, isn't he? 20, 21, is he? 21 years old, Toby Collier. So, he's not a youngster in today's football. He's had a few years to develop now. As a player, I don't know. I don't know if I rate him that much. I think he's a steady Eddie. And I hate using that word because Graham Souness used that word. But just a personal opinion watching him, I think he's steady, keeps it simple, ticking. I think his volume off the ball, really, really good. But I want more of an expressive player in midfield for me, personally. I know people say, you're being harsh, he's only a young kid, or whatever, blah, blah. I get it. And maybe he will develop into that kind of player. I don't want him to just leave and just like fuck off to the championship or whatever. Like, I can see something there. And sometimes simplicity is nice in football. I like people who keep it simple. Michael Carrick was the master of that. But I still want more. There's not something where I watch him where I'm like, oh, what a player. Yes, there's something to work with there. I just think, yeah, maybe he could be a squad player, potentially. Which is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with players like that. You know, we've had him over the years. That's how I feel on him. And I think if you're going to send him out on loan anywhere, I would probably send him to the Championship. It's probably the best fit. You don't usually see players like Collier going to, like, I don't know, Spanish league or whatever. Although I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world for him because obviously the Spanish pride himself on the technical game, don't they? So yeah, I think that's something he needs to improve on. So maybe that could be something that we look at, or maybe Italy or something. I would say focus a lot more on tactics there. I think he's got the output, to be honest with you, physically. Like, he can get about the pitch and he can hold his own to a certain extent in the middle of the park. I just think he needs to work on his on the ball stuff. So, yeah. Here we go, Sesko. Agree, personal terms. Do you think I'm an idiot? I've got notifications on everywhere. So, any news that comes through, I will see it. So, nice one trying to hook me there. But, yeah. Chivy's actually in the chat saying, I'm still heartbroken over Garner, mate. Yeah. I know it's painful for you. I get it. What if a bird scores a goal a game? Might have to think about that. Lindelof, you're the guy, man. You're the guy. Thoughts on Isaac to Liverpool? Everyone pack the bag and fuck off home. That's my thoughts. If Liverpool get Isaac, we're all done for, mate. Genuinely. Obviously we don't have any optimism as United fans to win the league anyway. But anyone who's near the top of the table, who's thinking, I reckon we can have a go this season. Arsenal are probably going to come third for the fourth time. Second or third for the fourth time. Because this is all depending on if Salah's still doing what Salah's doing. If Wirtz works out how people think he's going to. Because I think Wirtz genuinely is top 10 talents in the world right now. Near that kind of age bracket. I think Florian Wirtz is a fucking incredible player. Him going into that forward line, obviously Diaz moving on. I don't know if he's gonna operate more on the left hand side and drift out wide or centrally. I'm not too sure, but if they get that clicking at the top, that's going to be one of the best front threes in Europe. That is going to be a problem, an absolute problem, and they know that, and they've got money to spend. They can go and get him. So yeah, not nice for us. Not nice for us. I always say number 9. If Sesko ends up going to Newcastle, just to kind of come full circle on this show, I think we're going to struggle. Because it's all good well saying, well, we need outgoings and we need to be patient and the strike will happen in a couple of weeks' time. It's like, right, okay. Are Aston Villa really going to sell Ollie Watkins when the season's just kicked off and they're going to have to scramble about for a striker themselves? Like, I don't see it happening. Really, really don't see it happening. So, for me now, it's Sesko, Watkins. That's it, innit? Who else do you... Some people might say Nicholas Jackson, but the price that's being quoted with him, who the fuck is going to fork out 80 to 100 million for him? No chance. Absolutely no chance. So, I think Sesko's the one. And I'm not just saying that because we've had the news coming out today. I go back and watch shows from 2-3 fucking years ago. I'm talking about Benjamin Sesko. Like, I've seen this kid develop at Leipzig. I've watched him quite a lot. And I believe he is the genuine real deal. And he has got the scope and potential to be an elite striker in Europe. Genuinely believe that. So, yeah. We'll just have to wait and see. Listen, a couple of you mentioned the Instagram before. Obviously, people on TikTok. I don't know if you follow us on your other socials or not. But bottom right-hand corner of the screen on YouTube, Instagram, X, and TikTok. On Instagram, you have every single news post update in regards to Man United, so you get your fix, whether it's transfers, whether we're talking about getting a 1-star with raw chicken, whether we're talking about manager interviews, pre-season, whatever it is. Absolutely every blade of grass is covered on Instagram when it comes to Manchester United, so drop us a follow on there, and X as well, for kind of your journalistic reports being briefed out there, like Sesko, for example. And then TikTok as well. You guys who are obviously already tuned in to TikTok, you would have seen the videos that we dropped recently. We dropped a Diego Leon analysis after the Leeds game, which is hit about 160,000, which is absolutely incredible and crazy. We react to stuff, to other podcasts like Filthy Fellas or a couple of idiots on TikTok as well. So we are covering the whole scope, and it's only getting bigger and better and better. So we're on 20,926 subscribers at the minute, which means we are 74 subs off 21k, and we only hit 20,000 the other day, which is insane. So if you can subscribe to the channel, if you're watching and you're new, hello, welcome. Say hello to the community and all that kind of jazz. Leave a like on the video for us. And yeah, unless anything breaks, ladies and gentlemen, I will be back with you guys tomorrow. I'll read out the poll that we put. I put, would you spend £70 million on Benjamin Sesko? That was at the start of the show, 40 minutes ago almost. 67% said yes, and 33% said no. I'll take that. 2/3 of the majority would spend 70 million. A third of the majority would not. And a couple of people are just voting now on it as well. So, yeah, appreciate you all. I'll chat to you either in a bit if something breaks or first thing tomorrow.